Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring the Violet Sky role-playing game. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this Post-Apocaweird role-playing game, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to continue with the Missionary, the Mutant Hunter, the NeoBard, and the Nerd. Let's start with the Missionary. The world today seems to be without morals, and you feel that it is your job to educate people how to behave and give them hope for the future. Missionaries travel the world, help people and give them healthy advice so they can hold together as a tight community. But what do you believe in actually? Gods? Men? Or perhaps reason? As a missionary, you start with things such as a metal staff, monk robes, and healing ointments. When it comes to missionary tricks and choices, in the case of choice, what do you teach? Perhaps you teach about the gods. You follow a god or many gods, and you teach about them to other people. Beware of heretics. Instead of a staff, you start with a battle hammer. Perhaps it's all about philosophy. You do not follow any gods or divine beings. Instead, you are a modern philosopher teaching people how to live properly. You start out with a laptop filled with PDF files containing various philosophy books. When it comes to tricks, you have things such as orator. You get a bonus to your aura rolls when you try to teach people your way. Or you are preaching in front of people to encourage them to do something or just to distract them. You also have community builder. When you arrive in a new settlement, the game master tells you what kind of communities you will find there, what problems they have, and how you can solve them quickly. You also get a bonus to the first roll you will make in this settlement. Concerning your story question, what remote settlement did you travel to, and how many people did you convert there to your faith? Then we have the Mutant Hunter. This is one of the toughest jobs you can do in this world. These people earn their crust by wandering into hostile environments near towns and bases to remove any dangerous fauna and flora they can find. Sometimes things get really rough in the wild, and the danger is much greater than the scouts reported. In this case, mutant hunters must escape back to the settlement as fast as possible to inform the better equipped, more numerous soldiers. Most of them never make it back home. You start out with things such as a custom hunting rifle, 2 walkie-talkies, and a small axe. When it comes to tricks and choices, your choice is, what were your hunting grounds? Perhaps you hunted in the forest. Low vision, horrible weather, but it was quite tranquil as an experience, as long as the mutants didn't attack. You start with a camo cloak. Perhaps you were hunting in the hills. You were constantly freezing and the caves were always filled with some dangerous crap, but the view? Worth it. You start out with high quality climbing gear. When it comes to tricks, you have things such as prey. When you try to run or hide from something and you spend a desperation token, you add an extra d20 to your roll. There's also huntsman. You don't want to engage in long battles. Your job is to kill whatever is causing problems as quickly as possible and get out of there. The first ranged attack you do in combat gets a bonus to hit and damage. Concerning your story question, who did you hunt mutants with and what happened to them? Next we have the NeoBard. NeoBards are the modern day artists. Sounds useless? Quite the opposite. Without NeoBards, most people today would probably already be putting ropes around their necks. The world needs entertainment and laughter in these weird and dark times more than ever. You start out with things such as a musical instrument, a small radio with a turbo storage device, and a revolver. When it comes to tricks and choices, your choice is, what art do you specialize in? Perhaps in painting and sculpting. The world is grey and ugly, and it's your job to give it some color. You start out with a can with paint. Perhaps you specialize in music. When words fail, music speaks. You start out with a microphone, which can connect to a radio. When it comes to tricks, you have things such as Autonomous Manager. Every time you take a long rest, you may also have a talk with each Autonomous you are traveling with and discuss various topics. For each player you talk with, you pick one option. These options will give your traveling companions bonuses to their checks, and it could also boost morale by removing stress. There's also Inspire. When you give someone a d20 with your invention token, they also restore 1d6 stamina or defense. Your story question is: how did you start your career? Who helped you? And where did you perform? Then we have the nerd. Nerd is what you call today various scientists, researchers, and smart asses. There aren't any universities left in the world, and research bases are very scarce and heavily protected by factions who control them. Maybe it's for the better, as scientists do not get any respect from common folk. After all, they are responsible for designing bombs and other deadly weapons that plague the world before the apocalypse. As a nerd, you start with things such as a laptop, a test tube set, and a steel mask with black goggles. Concerning tricks and choices, your choice is: what is your specialty? Perhaps it's physics and chemistry. Back then, politicians would force you to design new weapons. Now you do the same, but for some psychopaths that happen to have enough money and power to do it. You start out with a little chemist set with vials, tubes, and a portable mini gas heater. Perhaps you specialize in history. Without you, humans would forget their past. Archaeology, philology, and archiving, that is your specialty. You start out with a working camera and 3 turbo storage device discs to keep recordings. Concerning your tricks, you have things such as highly educated. You get a bonus when trying to use a machine, hack a computer, or when trying to quickly gather information from books or documents. There's also cyber enthusiast. Your body can handle 1 extra special implant. You also get a bonus to damage done from weapons with the laser tag. Concerning your story question, where, how, and from whom did you get your wisdom, and how did you use it to survive? And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part, we are going to continue with the vocations. Now, in this case, there are 3 very important support classes in my opinion. The Missionary is perfect for social situations, for interactions with different non-player characters. When it comes to the NeoBard, you would think that it's similar, but this is all about a support role and utility, granting bonuses to the members of your own group and heightening their spirits with your art during their tasks. The nerd focuses more on research and using computers, but the nerd also has some combat potential when it comes to the extra implant and the additional damage that the nerd can deal. But definitely it's also a support class due to the information that you can gather and the ways in which you can assist the other members of the party in different technical matters. When it comes to the Mutant Hunter, there is no doubt about it, this is a hunter-stalker sort of character, but it's also a bit of a scout. Sometimes you just want to carry out some reconnaissance and then come back to a certain base or safe area and inform the others. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.